All right, welcome back to the Malapert Smark podcast. We're at episode 148 here, and I got my friends. Vlad, the wrestling expert, is here, and Robert, the Frozen Asians, veterans at this point of wrestling analyzation. But as I always tell you guys in the beginning when I do this little diatribe before we start talking about wrestling, I'm going to put bookmarks at the bottom of our YouTube screen. So if you just want to jump to us talking about wrestling and you don't want to hear us kind of bloviating about life for a minute, then go ahead and jump there. I know when I listen to Cornette, I'm like, man, I don't want to listen to him talk about his life. Where's the wrestling talk? You know what I mean? But he doesn't give you that. They don't tell you where the wrestling talk starts. They just they want you to listen to the whole thing because they need you to listen to their ads and shit. But anyways, so I'm going to take a minute to just talk about life for a second. Had a rough weekend. Well, it was a nice weekend. It was Valentine's Day weekend. You know, had a good weekend with my girlfriend in terms of that. But, you know, mentally, it was a little bit of a struggle. Robert, I don't know, I didn't tell you, but I texted Vlad that I had some mental anxiety problems, so I had some issues. Yeah, so I couldn't really get to the wrestling. And I fell behind. But today I scrambled, and, you know, we do this show every Sunday. We've been doing this every Sunday for almost 2 years now. So I scrambled, and we got ready to do the show. So I'm okay now. I'm in the mindset. Right. I'm like Solo. I had a rough time, but I'm okay now, all right? But we're going to do the weekend wrestling. Keon. Thank you, bro. I love you too. Yeah. I love you too, Robert. I love you too.
I love you, Keon.
Well, you know, I don't want to complain because I think a lot of these podcasters come on the air and complain about how hard it is, you know, how stressful it is. I've never wanted to do that. I've never made a post about, you know, oh God, this is stressful, this is tiring. But, you know, this is pretty tiring. It's not as easy as it seems, you know what I mean? And I've spent a lot of nights where I really wanted to get this done, and this show means a lot to me, and I've spent a lot of sleepless nights where I should have been getting rest, and I would just stay up all night, and I haven't really been able to get a handle on how to do a podcast for all of this wrestling and not have it overtake my life. So it's been a little tough, like, especially I think the lack of sleep maybe got to me. So anyways, that's enough about me complaining about life. Life is tough. Life is terrible. It's depressing. But this is supposed to be our escape. It's my escape, especially wrestling. For the past couple of years, I've gotten back into it, and I've really been enjoying it. So I am in the mindset to do this podcast today, even though I did rush through some of these shows today to just kind of see what happened. And I think I'm going to rely on you guys for some analysis if you guys saw it maybe a little more in depth than I did. But anyways, hey, Robert, another thing that happened yesterday, I went to Carl's Jr. and I freaking locked my key in my car after all that, like my ridiculous, like, mental fucking struggle weekend. I locked my key in my car, and Vlad happened to be texting me at that minute. I was like, Vlad, you're not going to believe this. I fucking locked my key in my car. So he was going to come help me, you know, with his AAA and come get help. So he was already in the car over to come help me. What a guy. What a guy Vlad is. What a good friend. But I got impatient and I just smashed my window in. So,
what the?
Yeah, man. I was
stunned. I was stunned. When he told me he smashed it in, I was stunned.
I got mad. I kicked it in. I literally, with my foot, I was like, I just fucking hit it once. It didn't break. And then I was like, and I fucking kicked it Cobra Kai style.
Cobra Kai, yes.
What is that catchphrase they use?
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
That's what I was thinking when I hit my car.
No mercy at all.
Yeah, but anyways, so that's another thing. I guess tomorrow morning or the morning after, I got to go try to get this window fixed. It's just, the car is there for the taking. If anyone wants to go steal it, I guess, go ahead. But hopefully not, you know. But anyways, there we go. All right, so we're 5 minutes in. Let's get to the wrestling. How about that? We got a week of wrestling today. This is a basic show today. This is a throwback show. Just AEW and WWE from this week, modern wrestling. We're going to skip a week of retro wrestling, although the retro reviews have been getting us, like, tons of views on YouTube. Like, I'm very, very happy with that. Like,
good.
We've been doing WWF after SummerSlam, and we were on the road to Mind Games, In Your House Mind Games in September 1996. But we're not going to get to that today. We have a lot of modern wrestling to do. I mean, if we did our Mind Games review today, it would get way more views than Vengeance Day. You know what I mean? The NXT Vengeance. But regardless, we are a wrestling podcast that is supposed to be comprehensive, so we're going to cover all that. It was a big weekend. There was Grand Slam Australia. There was Vengeance Day. So we're going to go through all that. But we're going to start at February 10th, this past Monday. So here's our topics list. This is our official blog post for today's podcast. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to follow along. But this is February 10th through 16th. So one calendar week, Monday through Sunday. And that's all we're going to do today. So I'm going to start with WWE main roster stuff. And then later in the show, we'll get to NXT stuff. And then at the end, we'll do AEW. So, all right. This past Monday, February 10th, what do we got? I got my first topic of the day. It's Jey Uso picks Gunther as his WrestleMania opponent after he gets jumped by Gunther. Okay, so we've done a complete review of Raw on our blog already. Here's a link. There's a link in the description also. And this was storyline number 1 on our Raw review. So let me jump over there. These are our reviews. We've already done some reviews, but I'll get to them in a minute after we go through what happened. So let me go through what happened. Actually, I think you guys all know what happened, right? let me pull up the TV. Let me pull up the TV because I'll show some slides. I have gone through the show and bookmarked some slides, all right, to show what happened. And I guess I'm gonna ask Vlad and Robert about this. So I'll start with Vlad. Vlad, you gave this segment 2 thumbs up. You like this, right? So
Yes.
why don't you go ahead and talk about it? And while you're talking about it, I'll play the slides in the background so I don't waste time doing a summary. But here's Jey Uso coming out, doing his freaking ridiculously long. Hold on, let me stop your clock for a second because I haven't given you time to start talking yet. But he did this ridiculously long intro with his silly dance, and then Gunther jumped him. So, what did you think of this, and why did you like it?
This was a fantastic segment. I mean, all the way through, it was just phenomenal. I can't, look, I obviously did not want Jey Uso to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know if I see him as a main eventer. I know he's over with the crowd. But the 2 Raws, basically, where after he first won, and then this segment right here, have been incredible. Incredible. They were just perfectly done. Absolutely great. Gunther, of course, tremendous heel, attacking him while he was doing the whole yeet thing. While he was on the
excessive yeeting.
Oh, sure,
I even thought it was like, what the hell's going on here? They're gonna yeet for like 20 minutes here. What's going on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But once Gunther attacked him, like this became a tremendous segment. And then after he said, "Look, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm picking you. And that was a great moment. So kudos to Jey. So far, the build for this thing has been off the charts, way better than anything I could have expected. And I'm happy for the guy. Honestly, I am happy for him. I mean, he does seem like a good guy. One thing I'll say about Jey Uso, he does seem like a good guy. Now, does that mean I think he should be a world champion? No, not necessarily. But he's over, and the company wants to see it happen. So, okay, let the company do what they feel is right.
All right, Robert, I think you were also at a 2 thumbs up. Let me see. Yes, 2 thumbs up from Robert. All right, so let's hear some thoughts from you.
All right, so I know I've mentioned before that I didn't agree with Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, and I wasn't exactly a fan of the idea of them feuding again, right? That being said, this segment was really, really cool. Yeah. Maybe because I'm sick of the Yeet Party. That may play a role as to how I reviewed this segment. Because this is the first time I've seen a Yeet Party getting interrupted, and the way that it happened was pretty hilarious too. I love how WWE does this a lot, where they frame the camera in a way where the surprise attacks, you can't really see it coming from a distance. Like, they frame the camera just right, so it does look like a surprise attack.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like the attack, we didn't see it happen. We really didn't see
Right.
where it started. So
Right. So, and this is another example of where they placed the camera just perfectly, where you can't see him coming, and so it did look like a surprise attack. So this was executed really, really well. Still not a fan of them feuding again, but this segment I'll still give two thumbs up for. This was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
all right, cool. I gave it a thumbs up. I mean, I thought it was expected, so I liked it. But the only thing I will mention is just in general is that move, the power bomb by Gunther as his finisher. I never even liked it back in the days, like as Kevin Nash used to do it. We just pull the guy up and dump him on the floor. You know, in terms of wrestling, it doesn't seem like something that bad. You know what I mean? Like I see people take bumps like that all the time. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I've seen some tremendous power bombs done. It looked like somebody just got murdered. You know?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know. I'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
All right. Well, that's the only thing I have to say about that. I give it a thumbs up. But okay, let's move on to our next topic. Let's see what we got. Let me go back to our blog post. So topic number 2, I'm gonna stay on Raw. Okay, so this is something that it kind of got my craw going. This is the thing that happened at the end of the day. It's storyline number 11 on our blog post. It's the New Day. And the New Day, who did a tremendous heel turn at the end of last year that was critically acclaimed. I'm skipping down through all these storylines to get to the New Day and Rey Mysterio. So the show ended with the New Day jumping Rey Mysterio, but it got cut off. Like, you know, I don't know if it was just on mine, but Vlad as well. Vlad said it got cut off. So anyways, my comment on this is, why the fuck does it get cut off if it's on Netflix? Like, you know, this is what happened. Logan Paul just qualified for Elimination Chamber. Ray lost, and then here's the New Day coming in and attacking him. And then they just got a couple shots in, and they went to black, and that's it. Netflix. Netflix logo, and thank you for joining. The live event has ended. The live event has not ended. It's still going. Anyways, let me see. What was our ratings on this? Somebody gave this any good. You guys gave it good ratings. You gave it a half thumbs up. I gave it a thumbs down. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? But okay, if anybody wants to say anything about this, I'll start the clock and I'll give a minute to Robert first. How about that? Let's go, Robert.
I mean, I did enjoy what?
Your review must have been for just the attack, right? Not necessarily that it got cut off.
I think it would have been a little bit higher if it wasn't cut off. That's actually what brought it down a little bit. So I did enjoy it, but it was very odd that, you know, they just cut it off at that time, because I mean, this is Netflix. This is not on network television. Like, it doesn't make sense that they cut it off at that exact time. They could have, you know, aired a little bit more of that instead of just, I don't know. It just felt really sudden. That being said, the Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio matchup, I remember the last time I can remember them going one-on-one, there was a potentially bad botch by Rey Mysterio where he could have been pretty injured, and Logan actually saved him from getting like really, really injured. I don't know if you guys remember that. I was kind of looking for if they were going to make some sort of reference to that at some point. I didn't really see that. But yeah, anyways, it was a pretty decent match, and I did like the attack afterwards. But yeah, I only gave it half a thumbs up just because of how abruptly it ended. It just didn't make sense seeing that this is on Netflix.
Exactly, man. There's no show coming up, so why did it get cut off? Yeah. I don't know. Vlad, do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Robert, and you as well, Kellen. I mean, I don't understand how it could get cut off. Like, somebody must have messed up, either on WWE side or the Netflix side, because how does that happen? Like, they're running the show. It could be cut off anyway. There's not another program waiting for them. Like, you know.
They're like, hey, we got a lot of other programs. Like, you gotta come watch one of these other programs.
But it's a streaming thing. I mean, you can watch it at any time. This was a live show. So I don't understand. I don't understand how that happened. But imagine like an NFL game, like just stops right with like 5 seconds left and it's a close game. That's like insane. People would be going crazy. Like it was like imagine if this was on the Super Bowl. Imagine the Netflix had the Super Bowl and it just cut off at like with 5 seconds left. There'd be people going nuts. But anyways, I don't know what happened here.
Well,
but it was
one theory I have as a possibility is that maybe they get money off of social media views or YouTube views. So maybe they thought people would jump to YouTube and be like, "Oh, what happened between at the end of the show?" But they shouldn't be gearing people to watch clips on YouTube, man. Like gear people to watch the show itself.
yeah. I mean, if that's the case, all right. But I mean, it was just a weird the way it ended. It was just like they just started the attack, and then boom, you go to it just goes to black. Overall, I'm good with it. Maybe something will become of the new day, but yeah, obviously not good with the way it happened. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right, well, let's move on. We got plenty of topics to get to. I didn't even want to spend too much time on that, but okay. Let's go back to our blog post and see what we got next. Storyline number 3 for the day. So I'll move on to SmackDown. Solo returns, but accidentally costs Jacob Fatu, and as a byproduct, Damian Priest qualifies for Elimination Chamber. But I'm going to focus on the part where Solo returns and accidentally costs Jacob. So we're not going to review that match really. But this is storyline number 1 on our full SmackDown review. So let me go over there and check out what we got as our reviews for this. So the Solo return.
Yeah.
Robert didn't submit his SmackDown review yet, but I guess, did you?
No, I didn't. So I was like half asleep when I was watching SmackDown, but I did see I did see the YouTube clip of Solo accidentally hitting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, Vlad gave it 2 thumbs up. I gave it 2 thumbs up. We both really liked it. So let me pull up some slides and I'll get Vlad's thoughts first, I guess, since he watched SmackDown more in depth. And hold on one second. SmackDown. Sorry, guys. I got a lot to try to figure here. I got Elora also up my butt, as always, the sacred princess Elora. Actually, you know what? I should introduce her for a second before we carry on with this review. And she wants to be on TV. She wants to be famous. Elora. Oh my God! She pressed the button.
She did?
Here she is. What's
up? Hey, Elora, how's it going? Look at you.
Hey.
She hates when I do this podcast because I'm so not paying attention to her for 2 hours. But hey, the people need us to do this podcast, all right?
She's in the Hall of Fame.
She is in the Hall of Fame. Let's see. All right, so here's some slides. Solo's return. I don't know if you saw the first part, Robert, which started in the beginning of the show when Jacob Fatu came out. And he was like, I'm going to win Elimination Chamber. And then Solo shows up. And Jacob's like, I got to talk to Solo. You know what I mean? Yeah. If anyone's talking to him first, it's me, right? All right. So you saw all this.
I remember bits and pieces of that. But I did see the YouTube clip of what happened at the very end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
There was one funny part in between that when they realized Solo was at the arena. And Tama Tonga goes up to some production person. I was like, where is he? And the guy's all scared, like thinking they're going to beat people up like they usually do. And that guy was like, oh, phew, he just left. And then right when he was like calm for a second and thought everybody was gone, Jacob Fatu like came out of nowhere and blindsided this guy for no fucking reason. It's so fucking good. Jacob Fatu is awesome, bro. He's so awesome. But yeah, this was the tense part. Before the whole thing that happened at the end where Solo accidentally cost Jacob, this was the part where Solo explained himself and was like, yeah, well, I lost to the Ulafala and it fucked my head up. And, obviously you don't know how hard that was. But he's like, I'm okay now and I'm back. And I love you. He told Jacob, I love you, Jacob. And Jacob was like mad at him. So I think Vlad mentioned this last time that Jacob gave him a look when Solo abandoned them, that maybe he thought it was going to be...
Yeah, one of us mentioned it. I think maybe Robert maybe mentioned it. I can't remember. One of us said it, though.
All right. Well, at the end, Jacob or Solo came in, tried to help Jacob. There was a Samoan spike out of nowhere on Strowman, which was pretty funny that it was so out of nowhere. But Cody comes out, and I think Solo accidentally nails Tama Tonga because Tama Tonga was holding Cody, and that led to Jacob like, again, what the fuck are you doing? So Solo's in trouble. I don't know where this is gonna lead. I guess we'll talk about it in a second, but take another crossroads from Cody. But I'll start with Vlad. I'll give you a minute on the clock. If you need more time, you can go ahead and use more time. But go ahead. What do you think about Solo's return?
Well, Solo's return is going to be good because Jacob Fatu is involved, and Jacob Fatu is slowly becoming my favorite wrestler in the business too. Like, I swear to God, he's so good. Everything he does is just like, wow, it's like gold. I don't see one thing that he does that would be like, oh no, he shouldn't do that, or like everything is tremendous. So this is going to be great, and I guess what I would say for their if neither have plans for WrestleMania, why not? Why not have Jacob versus Solo at WrestleMania? I don't see why not. That could be something very interesting. I think actually
To elevate Jacob, huh? I guess that sounds interesting.
I would say so. I would say that should be the feud. Kind of started here. There's still enough time, plenty of time before now and WrestleMania to get that thing going. I mean, it already looks like it started, so just keep pushing it along. It would be to get Jacob over, not Solo in this case, obviously.
All right. Well, Robert, do you have any thoughts on this? I guess you did say you were kind of sleeping through SmackDown because it's 3 hours long and boring, but still.
No, I was just really tired. Okay, so I think I mentioned last week that Jacob Fatu is probably my favorite wrestler at the moment. I agree with Vlad. I think this is a potential WrestleMania feud. That this would be one to watch for sure. I'd be very interested in this. I'd be interested in pretty much anything Jacob Fatu does at this point, but this would be a feud that I'd be invested in for sure. And
it's sad.
Yeah.
Sad for me. Jacob loved Solo. I don't want to see them fight. I don't know. To me, just as it's just sad to see. I love these guys, man. What do you want me to say? I'm kind of sad at how it turned out for Solo, obviously, but I still think this was pretty good. Like the whole drama between them in the locker room was some pretty fire soap opera stuff, if I may say so myself. But let's move on. Time's up for this. Let's go back to our blog post. The Malapert Smark episode 148 blog post with all our topics for today. I made this earlier today while I was at work, scrambling, trying to figure out what we're going to talk about on our podcast today. But okay, topic number 4. Nia fails to take the WWE title off of Tiffany, and instead that beef starts with Trish Stratus out of nowhere. But okay, this was storyline number 2 on our SmackDown post. If you want to, there's a link to that in the description if you guys want to see what we thought of every storyline from SmackDown. But for right now, I'm going to stick with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. And it was a DQ finish, right? I guess I'll start with Vlad on this one, too. I'll start with Robert more on when we get to NXT, because he's more our NXT expert, and he watched that more in depth than Vlad did. But Vlad, okay, so you watched SmackDown.
Yes, more in depth as he watched it and I did it. So
yeah, definitely more in depth, that's for sure.
All right, well, let me start the clock with you. Well, first of all, I'll get your rating on this. So let me see. Vlad's rating, half thumbs up. I gave it a thumbs down. I'll say why in a minute. DQ loss for Nia Jax to Tiffany Stratton. I'm not talking about Charlotte yet, so hold your thoughts off on Charlotte coming out after that. I consider that a separate angle, really. But do you have any thoughts on the whole Nia Jax thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I didn't really understand why they even had to have this match. Honestly, I mean, nobody wants to see Nia with the title.
What's that?
Oh, what? Can you guys hear me? Everything all right? Hello?
I think Robert's gonna have to exit and come back. It sounds like he doesn't hear us, right? Okay. Well, Vlad, you go ahead. It's
okay. I was just gonna say that yes, I didn't really understand why they even have to have this match. It didn't really seem to serve a purpose. Nobody wanted Nia as the champion. Everybody
So why
knew
did you even give a half thumbs up? That's what I don't understand.
Well, the match itself was okay. I didn't understand the point of it, but the match itself was okay. Like nothing. It wasn't like it wasn't bad, and they did have some decent moments in this thing. So it was okay. Like I didn't hate it.
I just hated it because I don't see why Nia would be bragging and happy with a DQ loss. You know what I mean? Like she was going out boasting, leaving the arena. And then the thing with Trish Stratus jumping in to help Tiffany, like that was kind of out of nowhere. Are they friends? You know what I mean? That was kind of AEW. Like it wasn't set up at all. You know, I don't know why she would, because they're blonde. They're both blonde or something. I don't know.
The only reason is Elimination Chambers in Toronto and Trish is in Toronto, and I guess she needs something to do that day. Cause I don't know. Yeah,
they interviewed her earlier in the night. They're like, "Is there any chance that you'll be involved with Elimination Chamber?" And they're like, "Maybe. I don't know." And I'm like, "Well, okay." This was a kind of a clunky, kind of lazy way to set up a match, in my opinion.
That part I agree with.
So I didn't really like it. I gave it a thumbs down. But Robert, do you have any thoughts on this whole Nia Jax thing, losing by DQ, being happy with it, and then Trish coming out to help Tiffany?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't remember this at all. I mean, just based on how you're describing it, I'm not a fan of it. I don't know how differently I would have felt if I actually watched it, but okay. I mean, I'm not going to complain about seeing Trish Stratus in Elimination Chamber, but the way this was set up, not sure about how I feel about that.
All right, cool. Well, Nia Jax, because you dropped out for a second, we were talking about how she took a DQ loss and seemed happy with it and bragging on the way out, and I don't know, it didn't really make sense to me. It was kind of a waste of TV time. Like Vlad said, I don't see why they had to have this match. Nobody wants to see Nia as the champion. Nobody thought we were going to see Nia as a champion going into WrestleMania. So I don't know. I think this was kind of a fail, in my opinion. But I'm going to move on. Let's see what we got next. Topic number 4, I think. Are we on 4 or 5? Let me see. 5. That was topic number 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is right afterwards. So this is Charlotte comes out and picks Tiffany as her WrestleMania opponent. So let me go down to storyline number 5 on our, or what the heck, where is this? Where's this at? As I run through all the SmackDown. Storyline number 9 on our SmackDown review. Charlotte picks Tiffany. Okay, so Charlotte comes out after Tiffany's squabble with Nia. Tiffany's still on the ground in pain. Charlotte sits on a chair next to the fallen Tiffany and chooses Tiffany as her WrestleMania opponent. She said, the queen chooses you, right? So what are our reviews for this? Again, Robert didn't really stay awake through SmackDown, so we don't have a review from him. But Vlad gave it a half thumbs up. I gave another thumbs down on this one. I don't know. I wasn't really into this segment either. I thought it was kind of lazy, in my opinion, lazy and predictable. But I'll go with Vlad since he liked this kinda. Let's see what you thought of.
Well, this followed right after the attack, right? So she was laying there after Nia had kind of beat her and Trish up, right? So then all of a sudden Charlotte comes out, she sits on the chair, and she says something to the effect of, "Oh, wake up, something to that effect of, I choose you, the queen chooses you, for WrestleMania." It was okay. Like, I didn't hate it like you did. I wouldn't give it a thumbs down, but you're right. It could have been more impactful or done in a different way. Where
I didn't hate it. I disliked it. 1 thumbs down is a dislike. 2 thumbs down is a hated it. But I disliked it, so I didn't hate it. Sorry.
That's a pretty thin line between dislike and hate. I think, But anyways, I think this was okay. I would just say that, that's why I give it a half thumbs up. Like I didn't think it was anything special, but. Plus, I think we all predicted it. We did predict that this would be the match for WrestleMania.
All right. Robert, do you have any thoughts on Charlotte picking Tiffany?
Well, not necessarily thoughts. More a question to you guys, since you guys actually watched this. Because remember, in either last week or 2 weeks ago, I did mention that since Tiffany Stratton is getting more of the positive reactions than Charlotte, that I think they should do a double turn. The way
Hmm.
this was presented, did it look like it was going that direction or not?
Well, in a
I don't
sense,
think
yes. But, well, go ahead, Ken. You want to answer?
I don't
Go
think
ahead.
they're actually gonna do a double turn like Robert wants, like a day where there's like where Charlotte does a horrible heel thing, and I think it's already happened. Like Tiffany
Okay.
is getting cheered. She's kind of a baby face. She was facing Nia Jax. You know what I mean? Her face turn was when she turned on Nia Jax and hit her with
Okay.
that briefcase. So Charlotte turning heel, I don't know. She's kind of already acting like a bitch. So I don't think there's gonna be a day
So
where there's a double turn. I think it's
Right,
so
already
right.
like
it already happened. Okay.
it's already happened little by
Well,
little.
this
That's
was
my
a heel.
opinion, but
Yeah, this was a heel move by Charlotte, right? I mean,
Okay.
the way she was just like talking to her like that,
Yeah.
while she's like
So
she's down. So yeah, I would agree.
prior to this segment, Charlotte didn't necessarily do any heel actions, right? This was you could say that this would be the official thing that like really marked the turn, I guess.
I mean,
Yes.
if acting overconfident is a heel thing to do, that she's been telling everyone she's better than them. She's been going to every show saying, "Yeah, you're good, but I'm better." You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah, nothing too heelish, but yeah, this is the first one. Maybe there'll be
All right.
more. Maybe there'll be more. So we'll see. Yeah, this is very early on. I guess the feud's gonna start. But overall, yeah, this was kind of as Vlad texted me saying this WrestleMania build so far has been mid. I think this segment
No.
itself was a
Again,
little
I think that
mid.
again, I think that was Robert.
Yeah, that was me.
I'm still on the
Oh,
I'm on the fence about where it's going right now.
oh, that was
Yeah.
Robert. Okay, I don't know why I
Yeah.
So,
thought that was you. Okay, all right. So Robert thinks the WrestleMania build has been mid, and I'm with
yeah.
him so far. So I'm
Yeah.
worried, and I heard that
Probably.
the IWC is worried in general for this WrestleMania if it's going to be as hot as it was. I guess I'll give my thoughts about that at
Yeah.
the end of our WWE main roster talk. WrestleMania build. Let me write that down. All right, next topic. Let's go to topic number 6. I'm on SmackDown. I'm still on SmackDown. Okay, so this one I don't want to spend too much time on, but The Miz and LA Knight had a heated promo over who was going to get the number one contendership for the U.S. title. So this is storyline number 6 on our SmackDown review. Let me go through that. Let me go to that. So let me see what Vlad gave this. Let me see. I gave it a half thumbs up. Vlad also gave it a half thumbs up. Okay, so let me pull up a slide. I'll comment on this shit first, since I was the one who chose this, and this is not really a very it's not a very whatchamacallit. It wasn't a sexy angle for us to review. You know what I mean? It was just interesting to me. It wasn't one of the hottest things that happened during the week, though. But LA Knight came out to talk to Nakamura because Nakamura's like, there's no challengers, there's no worthy challengers, which he was kind of right from what I kind of was what I was hearing him say. So LA Knight comes out, cuts a promo with him, and then The Miz comes out, and they have a promo battle, and it's very long, and they talk to each other for a lot, but I gave them credit for trying this with mid card guys, but I think overall this wasn't really a great segment, in my opinion. I think the LA Knight's promos have not been very strong, and if the higher ups are gonna take this into account as like an example of a chance for him to show himself and prove himself, I don't know. I think this was kind of a negative today. I didn't think there was anything hot here. So, Vlad, are you disagreeing with me, or did you, I guess you kind of like this. You gave it a half thumbs up as well, but you have any thoughts on what I just commented on?
I think this is going to shock maybe both of you, but the person I actually care about more about this is Nakamura. I think Nakamura has been actually tremendous lately.
Oh my god.
Since he came back, he's been really good, like really good. And I've hated him ever since I started watching, since I picked back up with watching wrestling. So this must mean that he's doing his best work by far since I've started watching. So I don't really. I didn't even remember what they were talking about. Did they talk for so long? I mean, I probably zoned out. I may have been in the same.
Boat
point
as
where
Robert.
was. Yeah, I may have just been sleeping at that point because, like, what the hell is even happening here, bro? Because I did watch it late, so I probably zoned out. Probably was on my phone at that point. Honestly, I don't care about the Miz and LA Knight's cool, but like, I don't want to. They had a feud previously, like before, and I don't want to see that again.
It was better before, but when Miz did a LA Knight impression one day, like, I don't know, this segment was a clunker to me, and I think it was kind of bad for LA Knight. His catchphrases are not really landing. I really didn't even know what he was saying at times. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Robert,
I don't know.
if you don't have any comments about this or you didn't see it, I'll just move on. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the crowd was trying to go along with what LA Knight was doing and trying to say, yeah, but I don't know. I didn't think it really worked. It wasn't very good. So let me see. I'm moving along. Number 7. I think this is our last thing from SmackDown today is Jade's assailant revealed with a question mark. So
Yeah.
I guess there was a segment. This is storyline number 10 on our SmackDown review. Let me go down and find our reviews for this. Let me see. Jade's assailant reveal. All right, so this was interesting. This is what we've been waiting for. Jade got attacked like a few weeks ago, and we didn't know who did it. Who done it? Well, Robert, did you watch this segment or no? Should I tell you what happened?
I vaguely remember it.
Well, Aldis calls him into his office. He's like, hey, we might have some video. We're not for sure, but it's from the day where Jade got attacked, and they see Liv and Raquel like walking in the back. I don't know if that means anything. And then Bianca and Naomi are like, oh, those fucking bitches, right? Well, they didn't say that, but
That's what
they're like,
that's what they were thinking.
they're like, oh, we're going to Raw, we're gonna get them. You know what I mean? And okay, so Vlad, I'll give you a minute on the clock. Well, hold on, let me see your review first. Sorry. What do we got? I got a thumbs down from me again. A lot of thumbs down on this SmackDown. But okay, You got an indifferent here. You didn't hate it, you didn't love it, but it's like, okay, whatever. I don't think it was Liv and Raquel. I don't think it was. Even though they might have been there, I don't think that means anything. This is weird to me. But I'll put a minute on the clock for you. Go ahead.
I don't even. So it took them like over a month to get this footage.
They said it's a cell phone footage, right? Somebody recorded it on the cell phone. I don't know. I have no idea.
So, and they just got it now, and it just showed two random wrestlers walking nowhere near where anything happened though. So I don't know. It was this kind of reminded me of an AEW segment. Like, what the heck? This doesn't prove anything. This doesn't do anything. I think it's going to end up being either Naomi attacked her or Bianca. Probably not. But I think maybe Naomi. So I think that's where they're going with this personally. So that's. Yeah, but this was a dumb thing.
Man, Vlad, I think you're too lenient on your reviews of WWE. Honest, when you're ripping AEW apart with all your thumbs downs and double thumbs downs, and AEW and WWE gets a half thumbs up for this. Okay, well,
this was an indifference, to be fair.
Oh yeah, an indifferent. Okay, you're right. Well, I think it deserves a thumbs down. But Robert, do you have any thoughts on this overall? Do you think it's Liv and Raquel or who?
No, so this is silly. If this was a court case and a prosecutor was submitting this video as evidence, that this is nowhere near enough to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that those two are responsible for the attack on Jade Cargill. That's ridiculous. That's what Nick Aldis decided to show them. I don't think it's Liv and Raquel. I don't think it's them. It's gonna turn out to be. It might be Bianca. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? That would be the most interesting.
That's true.
Suspect would be Bianca.
That's a good guess. That's a good guess. For a long time, I was thinking it was Naomi because she got the benefit out of this of being the tag team champion, took her spot and everything. But you're right. Maybe it is Bianca. A heel turn for Bianca would sound nice to me because I think she's kind of stale as a babyface. Maybe
Yeah.
she could turn heel and then maybe go up against Rhea Ripley or something like that. So, okay, time's up for that one. Let's move along. Next topic. I think we're done with WWE main roster stuff. Okay, so cool. Is there anything anybody wants to say about the main roster? Like, we were talking about the build to WrestleMania. I have a comment about the build to WrestleMania. Like I was talking to Vlad on the phone the other day, Robert, and I think that this WrestleMania is not seeming as hot as last year's because I think they think they did all the work last year. Like they're done. Like they brought The Rock in. They became the number one company for sure by far. Now the ticket sales are through the roof. Why do they need to bring The Rock back? They don't really need it. You know what I mean? So if you want to call that being lazy or lackadaisical, I don't expect the same punch we got last year. I think last year was like a peak of wrestling, you know, at that when Cody finished his story, like that's as good as it gets, and now they're gonna dial it back. The fact that AEW isn't competition is an issue. I think that WWE could they usually relax when the competition is not doing well. You know what I mean? So I don't think they're going to push themselves this year. I think this is what we're going to get. They just got the machine rolling. It's the well-oiled machine, and they got all their characters, and they're just going to do whatever, basically. I don't think they have this feeling like they got to go balls to the walls like they did last year. There was a lot on the line last year. They had contracts coming up for Raw and all that stuff. They got the money. They got $20 billion from Netflix. So I do expect to see a lackluster WrestleMania, personally. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what we saw last year. Comments?
Yeah.
Comments from either of you. Or anybody go first. Who wants to go first?
I don't know if it has more to do with complacency or that last year's build is just hard to match in any year, like whatever year it is. That's a very high bar to meet. And a lot of it was circumstantial, right? There was the controversy about, you know, The Rock taking Cody's spot, and then they had to do a pivot that made things really, really interesting. I don't know. It's just the fact that The Rock is not involved this year also doesn't help. So maybe he's not available or whatever the case may be. Yeah, it could be they're complacent too, but you know, it's just last year was a very, very high bar. It's going to take a while for that to be met again, in my opinion.
Yes. All right, Vlad. I have some more thoughts, but you go first.
Well, I mean, it's like you guys said, last year was honestly one of the great builds for a main event of all time. I mean, right up there with, personally for me, Austin and Rock, and when Austin ended up turning heel, which is another discussion for another day. But Hogan and Andre, the NWO's thing. I mean, it's just one of the great builds to any big match of all time. It's one of the top. It's got to be in the top 10 for me that I've seen. So, and then obviously the way they closed it out was perfect. The way they did everything was just incredibly done. So yeah, it's probably not going to match that, and nor will most things going forward. But doesn't mean that it'll be like a bad WrestleMania. I mean, it could be a bad WrestleMania. We get bad WrestleMania sometimes, but I'm not ready to say that yet. I think there'll be some matches that will be interesting and as well. Just yeah, don't expect it to top that, because that is one of the great builds to a main event ever. And that's it. That's all I got.
Well, I have one comment. A scathing review of WWE, who have been getting praised up the ass since last year. But the fact that they pulled the rug out from under our feet, they told us The Rock was going to come back and go for Cody's title. They told us, they fucking told us that people buy tickets because they think that's what the story is leading towards. That we're leading somewhere good at WrestleMania, somewhere really good. So if I'm going to be into this show, it's because I think something really good is coming. But they totally fucked us. They totally fucking just said, forget that. No, we're not going to do that. We've already got our Netflix deal. We've already got our money. Rock, you know what? You don't need to come. Go do your movies. It's fine. Get the fuck out of here, man. That was bullshit. But okay, I'm moving on.
Well, do you think it's? Well, I don't think it's their decision. Like, if The Rock can't do, I mean, I think if it was up to them, The Rock would be there, right? Like, it's not rocket science. Like, yeah, get one of your biggest attractions to the WrestleMania, to your best show, like your biggest show, right? But I don't think you can't really blame Triple H or WWE here, because I would imagine that it's not their fault and it's some sort of schedule.
Yeah, but you know what? If AEW was up their ass and doing really good and drawing like 1.5 million in the ratings and pulling some viewers off WWE, and
you mean if this was like the Monday Night Wars?
Yeah, they would figure a way to get The Rock in for this fucking season, man. The fact that they don't need him is why he's not here. I think the WWE's got some power now, man. They're big time, man. And so what the fuck movie is The Rock doing that nobody's gonna watch?
Well, that's exactly right. He's going to be in another awful movie, and I also don't understand it because, like I said, he's board of directors now in this company. So shouldn't that take precedence over anything that he does? I mean, to me, it should. So
I don't know. They also had a whole year to plan if he was going to do another movie to like do it not during WrestleMania season. It's not like they need him the whole year. Like they could just have him for a couple months. But
yeah,
okay.
They just need him the last couple months. Yeah. I don't know.
We know for sure. We know for sure now he's not going to be there, because for a while we were like not sure, but now we know. So this is the first time we're like solidly commenting on the fact that The Rock's not going to be there. The Rock, who Robert is a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan. Although last year's Rock was pretty damn entertaining. The fucking cursing ass final boss Rock was fucking awesome. And that's sad. That's sad that we don't get The Rock, I guess, in that sense. But okay, I'd rather not have The Rock than have a babyface Rock. I'll tell you that much. Moving along.
That's fair.
Let's see what we got next. I'm moving off of the main roster, and I'm going back to NXT. All right, so from Tuesday, I don't have many topics to talk about, but I do want to talk about Ricky Starks. So storyline number 10 on my NXT review. So I'll pull that shit up. And me and Robert reviewed this, so we have a full NXT review. If anybody's curious for what we thought about every single angle off of NXT. But we're just going to focus here on Ricky Starks. The Revolution will be televised because Ricky Starks is all NXT. You like my headline? You like what I did there? Instead of all elite, he's all NXT. All right, so Ricky Starks showed up out of nowhere. Robert, I didn't actually get a review from you on this NXT.
I don't remember you sending the link for the review, unless I missed it.
I guess you missed it. Yeah, there was a lot of shows, but it's okay. Anyways, I gave it a heart. I loved it. You could give us your review right now, and you'll fill in your review later, I guess. But what did you think of Ricky Starks showing up and his first appearance on NXT?
I'll give it 2 thumbs up. This was really cool. Hell yeah!
All right, nice.
This was absolutely awesome. Yeah, I mean, look what they did with Ethan Page on NXT. He's thriving right now, and then I think Ricky Starks is probably even more talented than him. So this is exciting. I can't wait to see what they do with him.
He's gonna go straight to the top of the card. There's no doubt. There's no one at the top of the men's. Like the women's roster on NXT is fire, but the men's roster, I guess the top of the card is like Ridge Holland, Tony D'Angelo, Oba Femi's there, but Trick might go up soon. Ricky Starks is desperately needed. And one day after he got released or whatever, or got let out of his contract, which I don't know if Vlad, you have any information on why this happened, or we expected it to be for like months more or something, and then suddenly they just said, fine, go ahead and leave, and they gave him his freedom, and he showed up in NXT. So Vlad, I know you didn't really watch NXT, but I'm sure you have thoughts about Ricky Starks. Come on.
Oh yeah, of course I have thoughts about Ricky Starks. I'm happy for the guy. I'm thrilled for him. I mean, he's now gets to go to a place that's professional and will know what to do with his abilities and talents. I was very impressed with a lot of his work, especially when he kind of became the star of Collision for a while. So I can't wait to see what happens with him, honestly. I can't wait to see what happens with his career. He's very talented in the ring. He's a great promo. He's charismatic. He can do a lot of different things. He can, and I'm very curious what happens with him. Of course, I don't watch NXT, so he's going to be featured here a lot. So I have to rely on you guys to tell me how he's doing. Tell me how my boy Ricky's doing over there. Because no, I can't watch another wrestling show. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. It just can't be done. I thought about it to actually go into NXT, but another 2-hour wrestling show. It gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
Oh, it's fine. You'll get the summary off my blog posts and my YouTube posts, right? You get a good summary off that, right? Come on. I mean, if you haven't watched the show, my blog post, how it got a pretty decent quick summary. If you don't have a lot of time, it'll just tell you exactly what happened in the storylines. So, Robert, I added your review here, but we would appreciate. I'll send you that link again. I don't know how it got lost, but we would appreciate a full review of NXT because I'm going to release that on tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon, before Raw, I'll release the TNA. I release TNA and NXT reviews together now because they're kind of, in cahoots. So I do my Impact and NXT review, and this week I'll release Impact and NXT and the Vengeance Day review as one post on our YouTube posts. So, all right, moving along. That's all I got from Tuesday's NXT.
Before you move on to Vengeance Day, I want to give props to Bayley. She had a match on Tuesday night's NXT, and this is coming one day later after she had a match on Monday Night Raw, where she qualified for the Elimination Chamber. So, salute. I mean, this woman is putting in work. So having two matches on 2 straight days, one on Raw and then one on NXT. She's on fire right now.
Yeah, it was Roxanne versus Bayley, which I thought it was a good match. And same thing, like Bayley working on all these shows. Cora Jade has been on TNA Impact, having a match basically every week. So they're trying to get her a lot of reps. So shout out to Cora Jade. I think she's been doing well, and I've been liking her on Impact. So, all right, but we do got to move on to Vengeance Day. So here's our Vengeance Day review. This one does have Robert's reviews on it. Here's our rating system, if anyone is unfamiliar. But let me go through some slides. Vlad, I know you didn't watch the show. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, But I do want to show some slides of what happened. Some things that I thought, some highlights that I felt happened. So hold on, let me pull up my NXT Vengeance Day slides. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I know we're live here. No, we're not live, but I'm not really going to edit this. It's basically like we're live, but give me 1 sec. What's going on here? There it is. Sorry about that. I'm producing the show and I'm trying to be a podcast host. It's not easy. It's not easy, guys. Edit bookmarks. There it is. Okay, so Stephanie Vaquer, she started the show and she won the NXT North American title. So I'll start with Robert on this one. Well, I don't think we're going to get any comments from Vlad on this one, but anything with Stephanie Vaquer, and I'm there. I think it's, you know what I mean? So thumbs up from me and Robert. So Robert, you go ahead and comment on this, and I'll have some slides of the match between Stephanie Vaquer and Fallon Henley in the background while you speak.
Okay. I haven't have too much to say about this particular match. I mean, it was very well worked, and I liked it. So I guess for the rest of this minute, I'll just say very brief. This was one of the very rare pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call it, where I actually had a vested interest in pretty much every match in the card. That's like very rare for me, where I actually, where that happens, where name any pay-per-view PLE. There's always a few that I don't really care about. I had a vested interest on all of these, so this was good. And this match was good. Good enough for a thumbs up. Nothing much more to say about that.
All right, I forgot to turn on your timer, but it's okay. All right, let me see what else I got here. I got Fraxiom against Inamura and what's his name?
Forgot his name.
Briggs. Fraxiom against Inamura and Briggs. So this Japanese guy from he's from New Japan, right? Was he from New Japan?
I don't remember him from New Japan, but I
Anyway,
guess
so they were facing Fraxiom, and he did that thing where he said "hit me." You know what I mean? The strong style. Did you see this part?
That was funny. That's what should happen.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking kicked the shit out of him. The shit. That was a great bump. But anyways, Inamura was really strong. Here's that one scene.
Yeah.
He picked both of them up and he's like doing all kinds of stuff, spinning them around. But I think this was the pinfall. Yeah. So Fraxiom win. All right. I just wanted to show that test of strength spot from Inamura. But Briggs and Inamura I like. So let's see what rating. I'll go through our ratings for this just because I gave it a thumbs up. Robert at a half thumbs up. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's move along. Going through this Vengeance Day review kind of quickly, but the quartet that we were waiting for. That what were they? They were supposed to be the mysterious quartet.
Yeah.
That was getting teased, and I was kind of excited about it. I was like, "Who the hell is this?" But it turned out to be a bunch of Performance Center guys, right? So
yeah, well, I think so. I don't recognize them. So.
Well, it came back. They did it twice. They attacked the guy in the ring twice. The second time was with Oba Femi. So they attacked Oba Femi after Oba Femi defended the NXT title. And these are all Performance Center guys. There was a show on WWE Network like a few weeks ago. It got canceled. It was called Level Up. And I recognize some of these names from Level Up, but even I don't know them. Like I fucking follow wrestling so close. I was even reviewing Level Up. But it was hard for me. I knew Dion Lennox. He was the only one I knew. Other than that, the other three I didn't know. So that was a little. It was a little and the crowd was chanting. The crowd was chanting, "Who are you? Who are you?
Who are you?" That was funny.
That was awesome, bro.
And if the NXT crowd doesn't know them, then that means they really pulled these guys out of left field.
That was out of nowhere, but okay. Let's see. We'll see what happens with them. But let me move on. The next thing I want to talk about is Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe. So Eddie Thorpe pulled off the upset. It was a strap match.
This was surprising.
He won it fucking clean. All right, I'm gonna put a minute on the clock. So Robert, go ahead and talk about this. I'm just gonna play images from this while you're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, this was unexpected. But I'll also call this a pleasant surprise because I've actually been liking Eddie Thorpe's work as of late. So this was good to see. This was not the result I expected, but I'm glad it happened.
It wasn't. I don't know what else. It wasn't the result this guy expected either.
Most of the, if you looked at the fan reaction of pretty much the majority of the crowd, they were all surprised. I was surprised. I was like, I thought Trick was going to win, but I'm glad this turned out the way it did because I think Eddie Thorpe's his work has been pretty cool.
Yeah, I like him too. But does this mean that Trick's going up to the main roster? Probably because he did a job, but.
Yeah, he might be. He's pretty over, so we'll see.
Vlad, this is how he pulled it off, Eddie Thorpe. He pulled the strap and it hit his balls. It hit Trick's balls.
Oh my god!
And that led to the victory. And Eddie Thorpe, surprised that he was even a little surprised that he won. And this fan was hilarious. This fan was like the WrestleMania Undertaker streak breaking. What the fuck? He's like, what the hell? Anyways, let me move along. What do I got next? I got Ricky Starks. Okay, Ricky Starks was there, but I don't really need to talk about it that much or really review it. I guess I'll just mention for Vlad that he says he's gonna sign with WWE. That'll happen on Tuesday, I guess. This was an X post, one of them lazy Twitter posts that WWE been using. I'm not a big fan of that when they just post a promo on X and then play it on the show. It's like, come on, bro. Fly the guy in. You know, he's absolute Ricky Starks. But anyways, what else we got? Jevon Evans. All right, so let me see what happened here. What's my headline? Ethan Page overcomes a vengeful Jevon Evans to secure a victory. Another dive through off the table, right? Or through the table.
Yeah.
He's like the only guy I know that can do that. It's dive out of the ring and over the announce table. So he was pretty pissed off. There was a moment where I think he caught some air. Let me see. There you go. He's like a fucking basketball player, this guy.
Yeah.
I know.
That's crazy.
He's really good. But he was actually angry. He was gonna get Ethan Page back and stomp his head on the. So he was going to that dark place. Jevon Evans was after Ethan Page broke his jaw. But anyways, what did you give this? Let me see. I think this was a thumbs up from you. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Ethan Page did pick up the win. So yeah, thumbs up from me and Robert. We like that.
The ending to this match was really cool. I don't know if you remember it.
No, I don't remember. What
so Jevon Evans tried to do the kind of like the Cody cutter.
Yeah.
And then Ethan Page punched him on the chin midair. And his mouthpiece fell off.
Yeah, because he was not even like cleared to really wrestle medically, and he signed to do it anyways. So he was wearing a mouthpiece. That's all they gave him for his broken jaw, right? And then I guess Ethan Page socked it out of his mouth, and the mouthpiece fell out. So that was a good-looking spot, I guess. So I'll agree with that. Good finish. So Ethan Page with the victory. Okay, let's move on to Oba Femi. Oba Femi was in a triple threat against A-Town Down Under. Here's Austin Theory. But Oba Femi survived this match. It was kind of predictable to me. I knew what we were in for when two partners are, kind of, you can imagine, right, Vlad? They both wanted to win, and although they're partners, they were at each other's throats a lot. So I don't have a lot of slides on this, but I'll just go over some images of it, and let's hear some thoughts from Robert while I'm going over some slides. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, it was predictable, but the story that they told it well. It was well executed, so I still enjoyed it. Well, I actually enjoyed it more than I expected it to, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, they teamed up, and then obviously when it came down to it, there was friction, and Oba Femi, it was a tough match for him, but he got through it. Let me see. Do I have any spots that I can play? Here's a elbow drop from Grayson Waller onto a table. Let me see. Here's some arguing between Austin Theory and Waller. I think this is the finish. Oh, this was an interesting finish. So this one also had an interesting finish where Waller jumps into the ring and Oba Femi jumps out of the way, and he gave his own guy a stunner, and that led to Oba Femi winning. So that was kind of interesting. All right. Oba Femi with the victory over A-Town Down Under. And then, like we mentioned earlier, he got attacked by the new Performance Center quartet that doesn't really have a name. These guys, but whatever. Let me move on. Santino showed up. The director,
and his daughter.
The director of authority is that his daughter, Ariana Grace?
That's his daughter. Yeah.
No way. I never knew that. That's hilarious. So Vlad, this girl Ariana Grace is Miss NXT, and she's the liaison between NXT and TNA. So when she's at Impact, and when a WWE wrestler comes in, she's like, "Well, here's my guy from NXT," So I never knew that was his daughter. Interesting. Okay, so basically they were here to just say, hey, they have ideas for this relationship, and him and Ava were supposed to talk. But it was kind of funky seeing Santino back in WWE. So I gave this a heart. I love this because I'm a big TNA fan. Robert, a thumbs up. But let me see. Let me move on to the rest of Vengeance Day real quick before we get to, what is it? Grand Slam Australia. That's where we're going after this. We're going to AEW after this. This is the last thing we got, Vlad. So Giulia survived a 4-way. So this four-way was between Roxanne, Bailey, and Cora Jade. And I didn't really like this match. So I'll put a minute on the clock for Robert, but I'm not a big fan of four-ways. But Robert gave it, let's see Robert's rating on this. I think Robert gave it a thumbs up just because Cora Jade's in the match. But I gave it an indifferent.
Sure.
I gave it an indifferent just because four-ways are tough. You know what I mean? It's tough to have a good four-way. It was kind of a mess to me. But okay, let's hear some thoughts from Robert.
Oh, I'll keep it brief. I wanted to like this more actually, and I expected to like it more, but there were some sloppy moments here and there, some miscues that brought my rating down. It probably would have been 2 thumbs up if it was a little bit cleaner. But otherwise, this was still okay.
Yeah. All right. And then after the match, Jordynne Grace came out. So she's the one who steps up. Although it was kind of weird to me that they made her seem like a newcomer when really she has been in WWE in recent memory. So they brought her out kind of like, oh, here she is. And
I don't think I didn't get that impression because she's been in NXT. She's made appearances in NXT before. So
I know that too. But the way she came out was like her music hit and the crowd was like, oh shit. I was like, well, why is there no shit? It's not really like she's new here. But okay, so Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia are the 2 champions, and here comes Jordynne Grace from fresh off of TNA. So that's something to look forward to. All right, so Robert, before we move on from TNA, do you want to give overall thoughts on Vengeance Day? I know Vlad wasn't really involved in this conversation, but we got to keep him in the loop, right?
I'll give it a B+. Pretty good.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I thought I'd like it more, but overall, I liked it well enough. I gave a lot of thumbs ups. So I gave a lot of thumbs ups, but I didn't give many 2 thumbs ups. So I'll say that. I don't know. All right. So that's enough for WWE for today. Let's move on to the main event. AEW, baby. AEW. So it's what some people would call the best show in wrestling. Some people. But okay. I'm going to move on to Dynamite.
I haven't heard anyone say that in the longest time.
I have heard some people say Dynamite is the best show in wrestling. It's some people's cup of tea. It's just different.
That's because this show has the best wrestler alive in it.
Oh, Max Caster, yeah.
Max Caster, yeah. He didn't make our list for topics today, but he did trademark that. Right? Since he trademarked it, it's got to be true. But okay. Yeah. So the first topic I'm going to start with comes from Dynamite. They ran an angle. Okay. So it's interesting to me when they actually run angles. So the angle is that Adam Copeland and Jay White lifted Moxley's belt. The briefcase, the briefcase that he holds his belt in. So they stole it for the entire show, and the Death Riders were looking for them and try to get it back. So this is storyline number 4 on our Dynamite review. If anyone needs to check out our full Dynamite review, including Max Caster, the best wrestler in the world, there's a link in the description below. But let me move on to storyline number 4. So Moxley. Let me see. I got pictures for this, but for right now, I'm going to give our ratings first. So thumbs ups from me and Robert. Actually, we like that they ran an angle. I guess it was interesting. Half a thumbs up from Vlad. So that's kind of kind for Vlad, who doesn't really give many good ratings to AEW segments. But okay, I'm going to put a minute on the clock, and I'm going to pull up some Dynamite clips, and I'm going to let Vlad talk over them. So Vlad, you go ahead. 1 minute on the clock. Talk about the Death Riders. Before we move on to talk about this day and how they stole them that briefcase from them.
I think you made a good point. The reason that I gave it a half thumbs up is that it was an angle. It was kind of a silly angle. They stole it by I don't even know how they stole it. They used some sort of.
They just wrestled it. They wrestled it away.
Oh, but it was chained to her wrist, and then
they locked it in a closet. Well, no. Edge sneak attacked Moxley. He bashed him in the back with a steel chair. And then Marina came out of nowhere. She was gonna hit him with the briefcase, and and Copeland caught it and just wrestled it away from her, and then shoved them in a closet and locked the door. And
But then
Moxley,
why did Jay White have to come in with something and he cut something or something, right? Or was I also sleeping through this? I thought that's what happened, but whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Well, you know what?
It doesn't matter.
Let's take off this picture of Okada, the current Continental Champion, and let me put it in watch along mode. Let's see what happened.
Leaving with the briefcase.
Wait, hold on. Oh, I think they locked them in there. Hold on. Here it is.
Fear. Moxley's erstwhile companion is. Oh, wait a second, Copeland! The chair. What is going on here?
Switch.
No, he cut something, some chain or something. I don't know. Bolt cutters. There we go.
Coat and Switchblade leaving with the briefcase.
I still don't even understand what they did. What the fuck happened there? I don't.
They cut the. I think they cut the chain, right? Did they?
It was. God.
They cut the chain off. They cut the chain off of what?
Wasn't it?
Was it to her wrist? Was it?
Oh yeah, it was. It was stuck to her wrist. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the briefcase was chained to her wrist. Man, that happened so fast. That was actually kind of cool, but it was like kind of hard to see what happened. Okay, interesting.
It was not done very well, but okay, it's an angle as you said. And am I looking forward to this angle? No. Do I want to see Moxley and the cope? I'm just trying to cope through it, guys. I'm just trying to cope through it. But it was okay. And you know, half a thumbs up is, I think, fair.
All right. Well, let's move on then. Wait, actually, I forgot. I'm sorry, Robert. My bad. I'm jumping the gun. I'll give Robert a minute also. Sorry.
No, I'll be brief. I actually thought this angle was not bad, and I'm looking forward to Moxley versus Cope. Actually, I don't think
that's a bad match.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad match. I don't expect Cope to win, but I'm still looking forward to the feud regardless.
Yeah. I think that could be a good match. I expect Moxley to win though, but I mean, if anyone could get a good match out of Moxley, hopefully it's Edge. I mean, he's experienced supposedly. I'm sure it'll be a hard-hitting, violent match. So, as we'll see on Grand Slam, Edge is still taking risks with his body despite coming off of that fucking injury that he had. You know, he jumped off the balcony at Grand Slam, so we'll get to that in a minute. But before we get to Grand Slam, let's talk about MJF, I think. MJF is our next topic. So Hangman Page stops MJF's post-win attack on Dustin Rhodes, and an intense fight ensues. So let me jump to storyline number 5 on our review, and I'll pull up some slides. And well, hold on first. Sorry, I forgot. Let me get some reviews off of us first. So for this segment, I really liked it. Robert really liked it. Vlad liked it. So Vlad gave it a thumbs up. So all good reviews here. So I'm gonna pull up some slides and explain what happened first for a second before I jump to Robert and Vlad. So MJF. So he had a fight with Dustin Rhodes. So good match, and he won the match. I guess he made Dustin tap out. No, he didn't make him tap out. I'm sorry. Dustin basically just passed out, right? Passed out from the pain, I think. So he didn't tap out to MJF. Post-match, MJF continued the attack, and this is where Hangman Page comes in, right? They have been at each other's throats for the past few weeks, kind of bumping into each other and talking a little shit, right, Vlad? Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, that's a good way, I guess.
All right. So Hangman comes out to defend Dustin Rhodes' honor, and an intense fight ensues. But I think that's all I need to say. I'm going to jump to Robert first. Let's hear some thoughts from you while I play some images of Hangman and MJF fighting in the crowd.
Oh yeah, I mean this was really good. First off, the match between MJF and Dustin Rhodes was really good, and then when he was attacking Dustin Rhodes post match, it was pretty obvious Hangman was going to come out. That was predictable, and that led to like just a good old fashioned brawl. I mean, I really really liked it. I don't know. I would caution MJF. You know, in this feud, he should be careful because Hangman Adam Page has been known to burn people's houses down. So,
Oh my God. That's one thing I will say as a criticism of MJF, because he told Hangman, he's like, this bad guy thing you're doing, it's not you. I'm like, how is it not you? How is it not Hangman? Yeah, Hangman, that is Hangman. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll burn your house down.
He's a crazy madman.
Anyway,
no, this is really good. This is a feud I think I'd really enjoy. Look at all those middle fingers. That's hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, I gave. There were some fingers I brought up. There were 2 thumbs. That's my review of this segment.
Oh man, okay, great. Yeah.
All right. Well, Vlad, let's hear your thoughts on this. Are you excited for Hangman and MJF? Come on.
Not as much as you guys, obviously, but I think it'll be better than some of the stuff he's been doing. Though the last couple weeks with Dustin was pretty solid, obviously. I will admit to that. I mean, yeah, they've been teasing this for the last couple weeks with them running into each other and getting in the way of each other's promo time or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, there's potential here to be a really hot feud. I hope it is for MJF's sake more than anything, because I really don't care what happens to Hangman, honestly. But for MJF's character development going forward with AEW and anything that happens to him in the future, I think it's important that he's in stuff that's actually good and matters, and that he can maybe get back some of the stuff that was lost in the last couple of years, So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think Robert made a good point calling it just a good old-fashioned fight. Like, these two are just going to have a good old-fashioned, intense fight feud, where they just go at it and go as intense as they can. So I think there's potential that this is going to be really good. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is going to be really good. I have confidence in this. But okay. I think that's all we got for AEW Dynamite, maybe. Let me see. Actually, no. I got that Harley Cameron Mercedes music video that I at least wanted to... The Mercedes doll, excuse me. This is storyline number 9 on my review of Dynamite on our review post. So if you guys want to go see everything that we reviewed on Dynamite. But this was a surprising one to me because it's a Harley Cameron segment that if you look closely over here, it would seem like Vlad gave a thumbs up to, at least somewhat of a thumbs up, a half a thumbs up, which has never happened before on a Harley Cameron segment in AEW. So even Vlad said, hey, I'm actually starting to like Harley, which is something that I said weeks ago because I've been following her on Ring of Honor and Rampage and everything. And, she had been, in my opinion, making a lot of improvement. But what did Robert give this? Me and Robert gave it a thumbs up. Dude, this was just really funny. This was pretty perfect. I have to admit. Even the serious promo, because she cut a serious promo afterwards. It was half music video, half serious promo.
How do you cut a serious promo with this music video? I don't understand that part of it, but okay, go ahead.
It all worked to me, but okay, I'll start with Robert. Do you want to give any thoughts on Harley? Because we're going to go, the next thing we're going to review is her Grand Slam match, but I guess start with just this video.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I was surprised myself that I'm giving this a thumbs up because if you had asked me to review a Harley Cameron segment a few weeks ago or even a month ago, it would most likely be a thumbs down. I wasn't entertained by it, but I don't know. Now she's starting to grow on me. It looks like she could probably be like AEW's version of what's her name? She's on SmackDown. I can't think of her name right now.
Chelsea Green?
Yeah, Chelsea Green. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, she could be basically AEW's version of Chelsea Green in a way because she doesn't mind making a fool out of herself and entertaining people at her own expense. So yeah, I mean we'll see if this continues. She could get over.
All right, Vlad. You don't have to use the whole minute, but if you have any thoughts you want to give on this video before I move on to Grand Slam Australia to finish off our podcast today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've always thought for the longest time that she's just like a joke, and she's silly, and she really not into wrestling. But she's kind of grown on me the last couple of weeks, I would say. First of all, she's immensely talented. Maybe not in wrestling, but we'll kind of talk about the match she had at Grand Slam in a moment. But obviously, she can sing. She can do the ventriloquist bit, which is impressive, and she's hilarious. Just has a funny face as well. I mean, also she's obviously also very attractive. That goes without saying too. But
she sounds like the perfect woman. God, Vlad. All right. Well, okay.
Well, hey,
high praise from Vlad. Well, yeah, she is. I mean, there's nothing anyone can really say bad about her. She seems like she's a hard worker and she's improving. And all right, so I'm gonna move on to Grand Slam then. Let's move on. All right, so this is our last thing for the day. What a busy week, huh? So I'm gonna run through the results from Grand Slam. And this is Grand Slam Australia. This is a picture of the stadium. I know everyone was saying that this was a disaster and they changed venues but the stadium looked nice and full, in my opinion. It all looked really good. I liked the white mats on the outside of the ring. I thought it gave it a different look, a little bit of an important look. So it looked all right. But let's go through the card and see if it was worth all the trouble that they went through to go to Australia. All right, so here's our Grand Slam review post. If anyone wants to go through our full post, it's in the description below. I posted a link to it. But I'll start with the first match. Omega and Ospreay defeat Fletcher and Takeshita in Superstar Showdown. And Omega and Ospreay also make challenges for Revolution. So this was a match, though. Mostly it was a tag team match. It was a highly touted tag team match that all of us gave half thumbs ups to. Okay, so we all, I guess, kind of like this. But I have some slides. I'm going to pull up some slides on this while you guys talk about it. So hold on 1 second. Kenny Omega. We got Kenny Omega. You guys see that? There's Takeshita and Fletcher coming out.
Yes.
Here's Will Ospreay. Here's Kenny Omega. And Don Callis interfered. A little bit of interference, but it didn't really make a difference, I guess. So in the end, it was a crazy finisher. A one-winged angel, and Ospreay did his hidden blade at the same exact time. So they did a one-winged angel hidden blade combo move. I gotta admit, that's pretty dope. But okay. Robert, do you have any comments on this? You can go first. 1 minute on the clock.
All right, I won't take a whole minute. I thought this was pretty cool. The one reason why I didn't give it more than half a thumbs up is there was one particular spot that did not look good. It's when Kenny Omega was doing, I don't know what the name of the move is. I think it's called Poison Rana or something like that. Where he tried to flip Takeshita backwards, but it wasn't executed well, and then Kenny Omega just basically fell to the mat, and Takeshita just, I guess, fell onto Kenny Omega's knees. It was executed really poorly, and then. But the way Takeshita took it, the way he reacted to it it's almost like as if Kenny Omega executed it correctly. Like he really took the full brunt of that move. And that looked really awkward. So if it wasn't for that, I probably would have liked it more, but that botch kind of killed it for me.
Yeah. I noticed some of the work was a little lazy too, man. But I don't know. I don't want these guys to kill themselves on a glorified episode of Collision. So that's fine with me if they didn't really go full force on this. But Vlad, if you don't have any thoughts on this match, I know you're not too into this storyline, but you did give it a half thumbs up. So let's hear what you got to think about this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the finish was actually a good-looking finish. I would agree with you on that, Tian. I don't like the hidden blade as a finish because I don't really think that's a finisher. It's hitting someone in the after basically everything else that Ospreay does, hitting someone in the back of his head is like nothing. It's like zero. What the hell? But anyways, um,
Yeah, the Tiger Driver should be his finishing move, but okay, it's too
well, sure,
dangerous.
it's a very dangerous move. But I don't know if you heard, Kim. But I don't know if you know how many necks it's broken. But anyways, maybe what's his name could tell you. The man with the mask could tell you. Anyways,
The man with the mask.
yeah, that's the guy, Excalibur. He could tell you. But anyways, it was all right. It was cool. I mean, obviously not my type of match, as you know. I don't like this type of this craziness. But anyways, it had some cool moments. The crowd was into it. Hot crowd in Australia, obviously. Both Fletcher and Oscar from there, right? Are they from there?
No, Fletcher.
No,
Only
Fletcher.
Fletcher.
Oh, Fletcher's from there.
Osprey's British.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, that's why when they had All in London, it was in his home country. But
Gotcha,
yes,
gotcha.
Fletcher. Fletcher was getting booed in his home country though. But okay, yeah, lots of hometown
right.
people here. Fletcher, Tony Storm,
Yeah,
and Harley Cameron.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
So Mariah May too? I'm not sure, but okay. I'm not sure about that one. Don't quote
I don't
me.
I think
think so,
Mariah
yeah.
May is. I thought she was British, but
I think she may be
All right,
British,
yeah, she sounds more British than Australian.
Mhm.
But okay, lots of Australians on the show here today. The first one took a loss. Second one is what we just talked about earlier, Harley Cameron. So Mercedes does defeat Harley Cameron in an interesting matchup. But let me see. I think Vlad and Robert both gave thumbs up. So Vlad says he was surprised. He kind of liked it. I gave it a half thumbs up. I have issues with it. I'll comment on it in a second. But I guess I'll go with Vlad first. Vlad, the thumbs up. I'm going to play slides over this while you're talking, but go ahead.
Well, honestly, I was surprised because I thought Harley did really well in the match. Now, I know there was some comedic stuff with the puppet. She brought out the puppet and she started hitting her with the puppet, right? I believe that was going on.
Yeah,
But
that's the one where I was going to criticize. Yeah, the puppet
sure,
stuff. And she did a move off the top rope where she had the puppet on her.
yeah.
But she also had this move where she forced Mercedes to motorboat her. That's just pretty
That
fucking funny.
that's a move. You mean she? I would willingly take that one. I'll tell you that much. But you know, you know so yes, there are moments, of course. It's AEW. I mean, you can't expect perfection. But I was just impressed that a lot of the stuff that they were doing, and she was doing quite well. Like she looked good. Like yeah, of course. You know, if you're gonna pick out those bad moments with the puppet and the motorboating and whatnot, that could be a highlight for all of us. But nonetheless, I'll say that you know I'm very.
This was the top rope spot where she did a dive, and what the hell does the puppet have to do with anything there? I don't know, but she didn't really hit anyone. Did she hit her with the puppet? I don't know.
But I do want to emphasize that she did quite well, way better than I thought she was going to do. So that's why, you know, I think she deserves some sort of praise.
All right, Robert, you want to give some thoughts on this one?
yeah, I mean, I thought this was entertaining. And honestly, I can't remember ever seeing a Harley Cameron, at least not a singles match prior to this. Either I never watched it or it was the ones that I did watch were probably forgettable. Whatever the case may be, I don't remember them. This one I will remember. I was genuinely surprised by how much I was entertained by this.
Well, I'm not surprised. You guys are all surprised, but you know how they always talk about how wrestlers don't get reps these days, that back in the days they would wrestle multiple times a week. If there was anyone in the wrestling business who's doing that amount of work and getting reps, it was Harley. Because she was on fucking Rampage, she was on Ring of Honor, she was on Collision. Robert says he doesn't have any recollection of any of her matches. I've seen so many Harley Cameron matches, but
it's because the shows you mentioned I don't really watch, so that's probably why I don't remember them.
But she has been putting in a lot of work, man. And then they had they had this spot here. I mean, I think it was a good match. I didn't think it was a great match, but I wasn't surprised that she pulled it off. So the spot with the puppet though was a cool looking spot, but I'm not gonna give it more than a half thumbs up here. All right, let's move along. Let me see what I got. Death Riders put Copeland down and Jay White. So Death Riders win this match, and after the match, they also fuck Copeland up ahead of the Revolution Showdown for the world title. So let me see what we got here. What do we got here? I got half thumbs up from me and Robert, and then nothing from Vlad. So indifferent. I'll start with Robert then, since Robert gave it some kind of thumbs up. Let me see if I could pull up some slides and see if there was anything interesting that happened in this match. I don't even remember myself. But here's Edge. Oh, you know what was kind of cool was the audience singing Edge's theme song a cappella. That was kind of a sweet moment. And Edge was like almost about to cry. And I don't know how they knew all the lyrics to the song. But okay, I think there was that top of the well, here they're fighting in the audience. Marina was totally involved. It was a street fight, right? So there was no DQ. So Marina could just do whatever she wants. And I think Copeland did a dive off the balcony onto Cesaro, Claudio. So he's still taking risks, even though he just broke his leg like a few freaking, like last year or something. So, okay. Here's a power bomb Edge took onto a table. Man, Edge is still trying, man. At this age, he's still going. Wheeler Yuta shows up. All right, so Wheeler came in to interfere also, and a spear onto a table from Claudio. I'm playing this really because I'm trying to see if there's anything worth liking from this. Yeah. Oh well, that was a great spear. I think Claudio did a great job taking that spear. He looked sold it really well.
Tremendously.
Here's Moxley getting hit with a barbed wire steel chair. It looked real, I guess, because he's bleeding like shit from his back. And Cope gets choked out. So the Moxley finisher. Moxley will just like... That's the ultimate finisher. Because in AEW, everyone kicks out of everything, so you just got to choke them out. and then after the match, they were trying to, kind of wear down Copeland. Revolution is very far away, so I don't know. They can't really take him out, but they try to wear him down a little bit. So all right, so I just went through everything. All right, Robert, half thumbs up. Let's see what you thought about this tag team match. We just talked about the feud, but let's talk about the match right here.
It wasn't bad. So yeah, the crowd singing Cope's theme song. I don't know how all of them memorized the lyrics. I can't imagine when AEW comes to LA for Revolution. I don't think the LA crowd is gonna know all that. But hey, maybe we'll see. The match was okay. I did expect Death Riders to win because they have the numbers advantage. Obviously, it would look really bad if they lost, regardless of that advantage. And then you did mention that choke. All right, so. Personally, for me, as someone who watches a lot of MMA, UFC fights, in an actual fight, if you're in that position and someone's got you on a choke in that position, it's the fight's over. there's almost no escape for that. So it makes sense that nobody has been able to escape that move and still be able to reverse that. So it makes sense as someone who watches MMA. I don't expect everyone to think the same thing, but I did. It wasn't bad. But I think Death Riders needed this victory more than Cope and Jay White did.
All right, Vlad, if you have any comments on this, do you agree with that Plumber Moxley's choke move is MMA style?
Well, he thinks he's an MMA fighter. That's the whole, that's why. So do I think so? No, obviously I do not think so, and I don't buy him with that. I'll say a couple of things about the match. As you said, Cope, took that risk where he jumped. It was an awkward kind of landing where, again, I think he was trying to protect his leg this time where it wouldn't break. He landed kind of awkwardly, but kind of whatever. But yeah, he is still taking these risks, as you said, at his age. I don't know if it's worth it, but especially for this show. That's basically, as you said, a glorified collision show. The other thing that I noticed is post-match when I thought this was hilarious, slightly, only to me probably, is Claudio was congratulating Mox on like the victory. He was like he rubbed his shoulder or something like that, and he noticed all the blood on his head. He's like, "What the fuck is this? Why are you bleeding?" I think he's trying to like rub it off. He's like, "What the fuck?"
That's a nice touch. Those are the things about wrestling I love.
He's like, why the fuck are you bleeding like this? Anyways, yeah, I thought that was hilarious. And I don't know. I think if anything, I would probably have had Edge and the Switchblade win this match because he's probably going to lose at Revolution anyway. So I don't know. Give him something. Give us some hope that he might win at Revolution at the very
Maybe
least.
he will win. I don't know.
Nah. Yeah, I don't think so. But
you don't think
anyways.
Edge is ever going to get a run with the title in AEW?
Well, I mean, you said that Orange Cassidy is going to be a future world champion in AEW. So yes, I guess in that case, then anyone could win a world title. So yes, Cope can be a champion as well. Then, of course, given his Hall of Fame career, and he is.
I don't know.
He does have a Hall of Fame
Robert,
career.
are you seeing that it's a guaranteed Moxley victory? Are you feeling that way? I'm not feeling totally.
I don't know. I don't know if I would use the word guarantee. I would say very likely that Moxley retains.
All right, so we're gonna continue the Death Riders then. All right, couple more matches and we'll get out of here, real quick. Okada. All right, nice. This is my guy. This is I think you guys noticed earlier in the day the picture at the bottom of our screen, Okada, where we dedicate a little square on our podcast to the current Continental Champion, the purest champion in all of wrestling, because the purity and tradition of the Continental Championship continued on this night as there was zero outside interference again. So Okada wins and he still remains a champion. Let's see some reviews on this one. Thumbs up from me and Robert. Vlad doesn't care about the Continental title, but okay. Indifferent from Vlad. That's fine. I don't know. Do I need to go through any slides on this one? Let me see. Let me see if anything happened. There might have been something funny. Well, Okada was going to leave, right? He was like, fuck this. He was leaving, and I think Matthews called him a wanker, right?
A wanker.
An Australian thing. But the low blow, Okada grabbed the referee by the lapels, and that was enough of a distraction to nail him with the low blow, and Okada with the victory. Okay, well, I don't think Vlad wants to comment on this. Vlad, do you want to comment on this? If you don't want to comment on this, you can move on.
Very quickly, I'll just say that finish where they do the low blow thing is something that they go to a lot in AEW, where they grab the referee and he's pulled out of the way, and then they just do one of those. I've seen that finish maybe 50 times in AEW.
Hey, when something works, why not use it, bro? If I ever had a match, I would do the same shit.
All right, I'm not gonna even comment on that because I'll leave it at that. I'll let Robert talk about it.
All right, Robert, what do you think? Any thoughts on Okada and the Continental Championship?
Yeah, Okada's clearly not a bitch. But
he proved himself today. Nice. I forgot about that. Good point, Robert. Good point.
Yeah, I mean, that's not much to say. I thought this was a well-worked match. I'd go so far as to say this is one of my favorite Buddy Matthews matches as far as like singles matches go.
Shit, there hasn't been any fucking Buddy Matthews matches, but yeah.
Okay, so all right, maybe there's not a very big sample size. Okay, I'll give you that. But this was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the build for this, but I still enjoyed this nonetheless.
I think the build was mostly on Collision, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I don't know.
The build was them calling each other a bitch, and Okada went crazy that someone would call him a bitch too. Like he was like, "What?
I'm not a bitch.
I'm no bitch." And he's not a bitch. Okay, good. Let's move on to the last storyline of the day. Is Toni Storm. Toni Storm defeats Mariah May and regains the AEW World Title in a match that, let's see, Vlad and Kahan, me and Vlad gave a thumbs up. Robert really liked it, so Robert gave it 2 thumbs up. So, all right, let me see. I'll start with Robert on this one, since you gave the 2 thumbs up. I'll play some slides on this, and you can give your thoughts on Toni Storm regaining the AEW World Title. This is our last angle for the night, so go ahead, Robert. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I might be in the minority of this, but I actually enjoyed the build to this match. I thought this feud is actually entertaining, and the payoff in this match was really cool too. I probably would have liked it even more. I know I gave it 2 thumbs up, but I probably would have liked it more if the finish wasn't so fluky. I would have preferred a more like a cleaner victory from Toni Storm. Not just like a roll up pin. I'm never really a fan of those. But outside of that, this was very well worked. Some good ring psychology. That was a cool moment too. I can say I like that one moment in the corner. That one.
No, sure.
That's Mariah May giving Toni Storm a kiss for you.
That's
right. Podcast listeners.
I can't.
But yes, it was a roll up victory. So. Hey, Rey Mysterio won the world title at WrestleMania on a roll-up. I wouldn't call that a fluke. That means she was the better technical wrestler on this day. But okay. Vlad, 1 minute for you. I know it's late. Let's finish this show up strong. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it was a good match. I thought the crowd obviously was way into this when the Timeless one won her title back. They went ape shit. They were throwing babies in the air over there in Australia. Everybody was thrilled. I'm happy for, I guess, I don't know. I'm happy for Toni, but I did not enjoy the lead up to this at all. I thought it was silly and dumb. And I'm kind of sad that this happened on a kind of a glorified Collision. I mean, it's insane. Why couldn't this could have easily been a pay-per-view. I don't understand what happened here. Why they did it this way. If you're going to a different country and putting a decent card together, you could have made it easily a pay-per-view instead of a Collision. So very, very strange in that sense, but I enjoyed the match and I'm happy for Toni because I do enjoy Toni as a performer. Obviously, I have some issues with some of her stuff, but she is very good at a lot of the things that she does.
All right, so Vlad disappointed in Grand Slam Australia. Calls it a glorified Collision. I don't know, Robert. I thought it was kind of a cool-looking, big type of show. I don't really mind this title change happening here. It was kind of like Saturday night's main event, but with the title change. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was cool. Like it was very what am I trying to say? It was grandiose.
You're not going to go to Australia and do a freaking Collision. I mean, that's just insane.
It wasn't called Collision. It was
okay, but it might. Well, let me tell you, maybe that's true. But when it showed up on my DVR, it came as Collision. So I mean, whether it was Collision or it wasn't Collision, it doesn't matter. It aired basically the time that Collision would have aired on Saturday for me. So I don't know, man. I think this was a pay-per-view. You can go to a different country with the type of with the crowd that they got there. I heard it was a pretty decent size for them, at the very least, decent sized crowd, and not have this as a pay-per-view at the very least. So I'll leave it at that. But it wasn't a bad show for what it was. It wasn't a bad show.
All right, cool. Robert, if you don't have any thoughts on Grand Slam as a whole in Australia, I'm going to move on to the honorable mentions and close the show out.
Yeah, sure.
No thoughts on Grand Slam? You didn't.
For the most part, I enjoyed it. Yeah. That's all.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I didn't mind it. I don't mind an episode of quote unquote Collision being a good show. Like the card was pretty good. That was not a Collision card, but you don't watch Collision. That's why if you watch Collision, you would say this is not a glorified Collision. This was almost a pay-per-view, except instead of 3 hours or 4 hours, it was 2 hours. You know what I mean? So
I know what you're saying. But Yeah, no, let's move on. I don't want to focus on that, but it was what it was.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to my honorable mentions for the week. How about this one? That's gonna be a good match. AJ Styles and Braun Breaker, huh? Having a little face-off on Raw.
Why did Breaker have a cowboy hat on though? I don't remember that now. Is it because they were in Texas? No, I don't know. I can't think of any reason he would have a cowboy hat on. Doesn't fit the character. I don't
Because
think.
it looks cool, bro. It looks cool.
You think it makes him look more badass? I don't think this guy needs any help looking for badass, but okay. Yes, this would be a good feud for sure.
Liv Morgan, I don't know how it happened, but she had a big big cut on her eye from the match she had. So
yeah. I think that was hard way for sure. Definitely not intentional. Something happened during the match.
Yeah, during a tag team match. So they used that in the backstage segment, trying to make her look hard. What else? The Ops. What do you think of that as a name for a group? Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata.
This might be the worst group of all time, dude. And no, wait, hold on. Is it the worst group? No. What was the? There's a lot of bad groups.
The Learning Tree is the worst group of all time.
The Learning Tree.
I'll say Learning Tree.
Yeah. The Learning Tree is probably worse, but this is easily in the AEW top 5 worst groups of all time. Outside of Samoa Joe, I can't. I don't want to see any of these other people. So, yeah.
Well, all right. Penelope Ford fought Chris Statlander, and for the second match in a row, she tried to lick her opponent's face, but lost for the second time.
It's the moves that these AEW women do. I don't mind taking again. I'm telling you.
The motorboat.
Yeah,
but these moves aren't really working. Like Penelope lost this match to Statlander, and Harley lost to Mercedes. But okay.
I'm not complaining.
At least she tried. At least she tried, because that move she went all out with.
But I enjoyed this Penelope Ford Statlander match personally. I thought it looked great. So that's my review of that one.
Can't remember anything from it.
Megan Bayne.
Oh, Megan Bayne.
Vlad said she looks good. To me, she's just really serious. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Her personality is kind of weird to me. She just doesn't say anything.
She looks good, but she's not very animated. I don't know.
Exactly.
I agree.
That's kind of an issue. I guess we'll see.
She's a work in progress, and unfortunately, she's in the wrong place for that. But it's all right. Go ahead.
Maybe if you can't cut a promo, it's better to just not say anything. But
I agree with that too. Maybe she needs a manager.
The last one I got is the Hurt Syndicate beating the Guns. I thought it was a good match, and these guys are on the way up, man. If anyone should take the title off Moxley, it's fucking Lashley. But
But the one thing I forgot, you mentioned some after they won. Who came out? I forgot who came out. You said
Murder Machines.
Now, who was the Murder Machines? I can't remember who that is.
That's Brian Cage and Lance
Archer. My God. Okay,
that's the next opponents.
That's no bueno, guys. That's no good. Okay.
All right. Well, if anyone has anything else they forgot about from this week, I think we did a pretty comprehensive review. Although, if you guys really want to know what we thought of any storyline, go to the description, the links in the description, or our YouTube post tab, and we review everything. Tomorrow, when this show drops, I will drop also the NXT and TNA Impact reviews. So, Robert, if you have a chance at some point tomorrow, if you could do your NXT Tuesday review, that would be great. But the peoples, they're waiting for that. But anyways, please subscribe, everyone out there. And I want to thank Vlad and Robert for being on the show today. And that's all I got. Thank you very much. You can go to bed now. And we'll see you next Sunday, hopefully, where we're going to do our review of WWF Mind Games in Your House from September 1996. So that's our plan for next week. So no retro review today, unfortunately. I know that's been popular on our channel, but we had too much to do. So, all right, guys, did you have anything that we forgot about that you want to mention in the world of wrestling, or are we good?
I think we're all right.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Is there anything you want to tell to the people out there in terms of just, how they should act?
The people, how they should act?
Yes.
Yeah. Just don't be assholes, guys. I don't know. I mean, what can I say?
There you go.
Best advice ever.
Be good people, man. Be good people.
Be nice.
Be nice. Yeah. Everybody knows we're in tough times. Let's just be as nice as possible to each other as we can.
All right, guys. Good show today. Good show. I'm gonna split it up. I'm gonna make clips, and we'll see if we can pick up any subscribers this week. We're at 511. We've been making good progress. We're on our way to 1,000. So hopefully that'll happen sometime soon. Gotta pick up the pace, guys. Hit subscribe. Hit it hard. Hit it fast. All right. That's all we got today. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Join the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the Wrestle Heat. Malapert, Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The Smark's always high. Fights and myths, all we say. Heroes rise till and sway. In the ring, night and day. Wrestling talk, come and stay. Malapert, Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. With the Smarks always high. Hit the mat, crash and cheer. All the news you wanna hear. Belt and fame always near. With the crew, have no fear. Malapert, Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. With the Smarks always high. Malapert, Smark, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. With the Smarks always high.